Live from Cedar Park, Texas, and Alzer's Barbecue, this is Timberwolf Night in America. It's our 134th show, spread out over 12 seasons now. I'm Brad Cohn, and I'm giving my last intro. I'm no longer hosting the show. Tonight is the formal turnover of TNIA hosting duties to Josh Willard. Josh and I are switching roles on this show. I'll be here each week, but as the side commentator, while Josh here steers the ship. But before I turn it over to Josh, I want to repeat a personal announcement I made on the pregame show during the season opener. I know a lot of you didn't tune in and hear that. Many of you know, though, that this past spring I was diagnosed with cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma. The symptoms were pretty bad, and I had to pull out of broadcasting Cedar Park baseball and being the stadium announcer for Concordia University baseball. But now I'm 2/3 of the way through the 6-month chemo program. Things are going very well, and yes, I am bald. But I can live with that, literally. My daughter's started a GoFundMe campaign to help us defray the large out-of-pocket medical expenses, and thanks to so very many of you out there, it has met its goal. I cannot thank you enough. Timberwolf Nation really got involved. Cedar Park coaches, former coaches, players, former players, and our decades-long army of fans now spread all over the world have humbled me with their generosity, and Sherry and I will never, ever forget it. Thank you so much for helping to extend, ooh, there's a Freudian slip, extend my life. And now, here he is, Josh Willard.
Thank you so much, Brad. And again, it's a changing of an era. It's the passing of the torch of the teacher to young grasshopper. So again, it's been a wild journey. Blink our eyes. How many years have we been doing this now together?
Since 2012.
Since
right?
2012.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. You know how many games we've done, how many road trips we've been on, how many TNIAs we've done, and the journey of Timberwolf Night in America, starting from your living room, going all the way over to that place right over on Buttercup and
joint at Buttercup A3, not far from here.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then now here, Moutons. We were across the street. Santa Catarina,
and here.
And we found our home over here at Alzer's Barbecue at the corner of Lacalene. How do you? That was a good one.
Lacalene.
There we go, Lacalene, in Cypress Creek. So definitely, as the season continues and we start this district race, definitely want to invite everybody to come out here, get some good barbecue. We are going to adjust the show time from 7 to 8. So we're trimming it down 30 minutes, and we're actually going to play within their operating hours. I did not know we were going past their operating hours.
I didn't either.
It's okay.
They were nice.
That's just how classy they are here at Alzer's Barbecue. And again, just the rich family history with all the Alzer sons coming through the program. With goodness gracious, I think I'm going to have a happy tear come. We have the last Alzer.
Oh, I know.
That
last
is
year.
Unbelievable.
On the offensive line. Yeah,
and he's actually doing really good so far this year, especially that whole offensive unit. And we're going to break all that down. But again, changing of the torch, it gives me an opportunity to pay homage to the most interesting sports broadcaster in the world. He doesn't believe in using oven mitts nor pot holders. His cereal never gets soggy. It sits there staying crispy just for him. His hand feels like rich brown suede. And he once taught a horse to read email for him. It is none other than the V of the T, Brad Cohn.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's exciting just to see this team coming out of the last season, going 4-7, finding a way to make the 15th consecutive playoff appearance, and holding that streak, which is a really impressive one at that. And I know that there was a lot of questions coming into this season, and my oh my, how did the Timberwolves just completely erase all that with that great opening win against Cedar Ridge, and then finishing the non-district schedule with a great battle with Round Rock that came down to the end.
Yeah, we've played 6 halves, and 5 of them we've played really well. The only one that wasn't was the first half against Vandy. 5 straight touchdown drives to open the game for them, but after that we actually outscored them the rest of the way. 2-1, great start. First time we've won. First time we've had a winning record coming into district play since the 2020 state title game run. So the team is doing really well.
And it's not uncommon for the Timberwolves to drop some of those non-district games, and you credit that to the non-district schedule and facing or scheduling tough opponents, and that's something that Cedar Park prides itself on. And you want to see where your team is at, but more importantly, finding a way to make it out without any injuries. And I feel like that's something that this team collectively did. Just really took it serious in the off season, and I'm not joking. It seemed like everybody had a collective jump. Not just the offense, or not just the skill positions or the O-line.
Right.
The entire offense, the entire defense, I would say even the coaching staff as well. This team just really looks like they're together right now. And I'm telling you, man, this is going to be a pleasantly good surprise for all you Timberwolf faithful out there.
Here's a couple of slices of our records now to impress you. Our all-time non-district record after this 3-game run through a non-district schedule this year, 57-33, a 633 winning percentage. All-time against 6A teams, while we're a 5A team, 28-13, 683 winning percentage. All-time home record. Sound like I said home record. All-time home record. We're a home record when we're on the road. Is 102-30, a 773 winning percentage, better than 3 out of every 4 home games we have won for 25 years. And our all-time record at Gupton, 68-8, 895 winning percentage, about 9 out of every 10.
Unbelievable. Just Cedar Park has really just done a good job this season in particular. I think offensively, just seeing this team that struggled so much offensively running the ball last year, and seeing how the offensive line has just been firing off, getting downhill, and then Trey Hill, oh my gosh, just a little sparkle in your eye whenever you talk about him. It is exciting to see how electric he is with the football in his hands. But my gosh, Aiden Arp too, when he's running with the football, get out of his way, please. DB's out there, you be warned. Definitely lowered his shoulder on the sideline last game. He is thick with 3 C's. He is definitely.
They have added that 4th and 1, 4th and a half play, where it's just everybody lines up behind Aiden under center and just shoves everything forward. Nobody's going to stop that.
Yeah, we get the big boy package on with defensive linebackers, Reed Mines, and also sophomore. God, slipping my mind. But again, just an all-around exciting team that we've got this year. We've got Coach Q. He's doing the Booster Club meeting over at the high school right now. He said he's going to try to make his way over here, as we'd love to talk to him and just kind of hear about this offseason and really what changed, I guess you would say. But I really don't think there was a lot of change when this team saw the struggles, and they don't want to be there anymore.
Right.
And it's very evident.
Tired of that.
Yeah.
They're doing something about it.
And so Cedar Park, I know we brought a possession chart, and again, it's just the possessions that we've been getting. We're putting together long, sustained drives, but we're also firing quick and scoring quickly. So it's just exciting to see this receiving core. If we just start breaking down each position group, that's probably one of the most deep receiving cores in Central Texas. With Gavin Chopper, Carter Wool, Blake Suber, and then the youngster, number 19. Goodness gracious.
Oh, we didn't bring a roster.
I know, we didn't bring our roster. That's on us. Hand up on us. But again, just excited about this season and what it's going to bring for us as the Cedar Park Timberwolves now getting geared up to start the district race. Do we have another bye week?
No.
Okay, so we get the bye week out of the way early. And again, we're going to open up district on the road next week. Or this week, I should say.
Yeah. Friday night.
At Georgetown. Again, all of our Timberwolf faithful, our favorite place to go. We kind of own that stadium, right? We kind of own that stadium.
Yeah, we kind of do.
Yeah. So again, just about this team defensively, I thought that Vandergrift game was really interesting. Just how we did kind of let the floodgates open early, and you saw those second half adjustments though, in the second half, and you can't discredit. When starting quarterback Deuce Adams, I think he went down, and that offense completely changed. So that was something to take note of, and just proud of how the Black Rain battled in that game.
They had 378 yards of offense in the first half. In the second half, they had 78. So did some good things, and 79 of that was on their final possession.
That's unbelievable.
So between halftime and their final possession, the Black Rain held them to -1 yards, and that's a good team.
And we've just special teams too. The Cedar Park has done fairly well. Connor Schutte, just electric to have him, and just clutch when you can flip the field. from the punting position, and then good Gary. Doing a good job banging them through. Had some good early season, opportunities of trying to use the leg. So definitely going to need to rely on the senior as the district race unfolds. And I mean that's kind of what we're looking at now. I know Dave Campbell's picked us to finish 4th. That last representative for
that might be a little low.
I think that is low. I mean I think it is for sure because I know Georgetown. I think they dropped.
They're having troubles.
They dropped to Liberty Hill, and my gosh, Liberty Hill. What did they have? 60-something points between 2 games that when they had 80 against
82 and 45.
Unbelievable.
In 2 state games. But then they played a real defense. Josh Mann and Rouse scored 17.
Yes, and that was a great game, and was unfortunate to not hear Tim Dean on the call last week for their game of the week. But again, it was it's been exciting to kind of see how everybody started to pan out. And our district has. How did we all finish up in the non-district?
Well, I've got that. Let me pull that out of my stuff.
There we go.
Well, we had 4 teams go 1-2. Eastview, Georgetown, Glenn, and Leander. 2 teams went 1-1. That's A&M Consolidated and College Station. 2 teams went 2-1 at the top of the standings. Cedar Park and Hendrickson.
That is unbelievable.
And when you look at that, that's not a winning record spread across the district in non-district. It's a couple games below 500. I'm hissing in my microphone here. I'll try to adjust. But there's only 2 teams that won more than 1 game. That's us and Hendrickson. And of those, our win over Cedar Ridge is the only win by any District 11 5A team so far this year over a team with a winning record. But we could only say that for a week because Cedar Ridge lost last week in their district opener to go to 2-2. So as of this moment, nobody in our district has any wins over a team with a winning record.
And I think that's something that we saw last year as well. I think Leander started off 3-0 with their
finished 3-7.
Yeah, and they finished 3-7 when they got into district play, and just Glenn is going to be coming back firing on all cylinders. I know that they've got a couple returning starters, but again Hendrickson, that's like our new Westwood. I feel like.
Maybe.
Going back in history, that's kind of been the team that surprises us, and again, they're undefeated right now. So, hats off to the Hawks.
Now, you talked about this offense a moment ago with long drives this year, way more than we had at this point last year. And let's point them out. In that first game against Ridge, had an 81-yard touchdown drive. We had a 50-yard drive that was a missed field goal. We'll just do the 50 yards or plus drives here. A 50-yard touchdown drive and a 68-yard touchdown drive. So 4 drives of 50 yards or more in that game. Against Vandegrift, we even had a few. We had a 50-yard field goal drive, a 50-yard drive that ended in an interception, and a 52-yard touchdown drive. And then against Round Rock, we had a 75-yard touchdown drive to open the game. A 76-yard touchdown drive on our third possession, an 80-yard touchdown drive in the second half, and another 68-yard touchdown drive in the second half. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 50-yard drives or longer by this offense so far.
I mean,
that's good.
And it's a balanced attack. You're seeing them take shots down the sideline. That Vandegrift game, even though the scoreboard didn't show it, Blake Suber had himself a night. And, I mean, we saw it in the Westlake scrimmage, just taking some shots early and trying to stretch them on first down, taking some chunk plays. And again, he's able to high point that, keep his focus on getting the foot and toe tapping that inbounds. I mean, that's just lethal. But, I mean, last game, too, just not even seeing Gavin Choppa with a reception and how big of a game that was. I mean, I know that this team is going to continue to develop and get more comfortable as the season goes on. And it's a really exciting one just to see the growth. I mean, you can tell an immediate growth between every single phase of the game for Cedar Park, and it is from these long sustained drives. We statistically last year the worst rushing season for Cedar Park in history, and I mean already
less than 1,000 team yards in an 11-game season.
And already, I mean, just out of the gate, I think Trey Hill had his first 100-yard game.
Yes, he did.
And so just really promising there. I think first week against Cedar Ridge, ARP gave us 74 yards roughly rushing on just a few attempts, about 6 or 7 attempts. So, that's going to be crucial is his ability to keep the eyes downfield. But as soon as he sees the backers turn his back to him to get back in coverage, man, take those chunk yards.
And talking about the defense, look at these charts. We're looking at 0 yards or negative yardage on an opponent possession. We have done that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times this year.
Wow.
0 yards or negative yards by the Black Rain.
And it feels like it, too. I mean, the Round Rock game, that was a very high-powered offense coming in preseason, number 25 in 6A. That quarterback is a returning starter who was very good for them. But even the year before, wasn't it, a low-scoring game at 10-7? Or that was the A&M Consolidated?
Year before was a close Round Rock game. Last year was 10-7 at halftime, and they pulled away from us in the second half.
That's right. So it was exciting to see how Cedar Park, because we exploded. I mean, that first possession was 61 yards to Pecci.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I didn't know Pecci had that in him.
Yeah.
He's going to have to go to the receiver dinner, not the O-line dinner.
He's playing really well. A lot of guys are, as you mentioned. And it's just great to see this team come back from what really was a disappointing year last year. I know we went to the playoffs, but we didn't quit ourselves well in the playoffs. We didn't do well in the district standings. We benefited from a weak district, and 4 and 6 overall was good enough to still get us in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But this year just really feels different.
It really does, and I kind of felt like that we were almost there last year, and that's what's crazy. I mean, for statistically being the worst season, I mean, offensively in production numbers, it was, you could just tell that they were almost there. And this offensive line, I think, was the one that needed to take that jump. Wyatt Valiente coming back as a junior now, at starting center, and you can't forget Davis Williams, Little Williams out there, Little Big Williams. Are we going to call him that? I wonder.
Yes.
All right, younger brother of Luke Williams, definitely stepping into his frame and starting to play like a big boy like he is. It's just exciting to see everybody collectively buying into the system, buying into the coaching staff, and then producing on the field. That's what Cedar Park football is in its essence. And shoot, I guess we should maybe do a little intro to the listeners out there, kind of a little bit about ourselves. We haven't even done that.
Oh, yeah, we have for the new fans.
Yeah.
Well, you go first.
I'll go first as the host. Okay, that's rude. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that anymore, I promise. But again, I played football for Cedar Park, graduated 2011, was on the 2010 team that won district and made Lake Travis cry on their home field as they lost the last game of the season. I can't tell you how satisfying that was.
It was satisfying up in the press box.
Oh, my gosh. So that was a really big moment in my high school career, just going perfect in the regular season, opening up the GUP and having a home playoff game and getting a running clock against LBJ in the second half. It was a really fun.
Still got 77 points.
Yeah, it was a fun team to be on, just because of that coaching staff and where Coach Q originally came from, and now A&M Consolidated's head coach, Coach Brandon Schmidt, was our offensive line coach, and he went to Prosper when everybody dispersed, and now he's going to be in the district. When he's got a big game this week. They're playing Georgetown, so that'll be a really exciting game for him. But so was on that 2010 team. We ended up losing to Lake Travis by 1 point. We're not going to talk about that one too much, but hashtag drain the lake anytime you can. And again, it was a big part of my life being a part of the Cedar Park football community. After the season, my senior year, still sticking around and coaching the 7-on-7 guys, and then the opportunity was presented as my uncle was the Via the T's broadcast partner from the beginning. My uncle Jim Byerly, Appalachian State's finest, and definitely he can't ride the Superman either. He's a really short king as well. But again, just seeing y'all's banter back and forth and my uncle's enthusiasm for the game, it definitely inspired me to want to get on the mic. And I didn't really know what I was doing, but again, had Brad over the past OJT. Just really appreciate Brad, what you've done, and as you've officially made this your Coach K retirement tour, making everybody know this is your last year, and so everybody can give you flowers every stop you go. I get it. That was a smart move. But it is just a really special year. Not only is just watching you go through this, and hard to see, but then you just can't help but think about how thankful I am of everything that you've taught me, from just being a professional but doing it in a fun way. My
pleasure.
And I think that's been, the biggest gain from all this is, I wouldn't be the broadcaster I am without you. And I mean, the prep work that you do is insane. The Timberwolf Night in Americas are going to get insane. I just really appreciate all the mentorship that you've done. Not even thinking about it, just by second nature, just by watching you operate. And so been doing the broadcast for quite a while. I took a hiatus when I was in San Marcos as I was working for my father doing general manager of Bush's Chicken, and that year definitely was missed. I mean, I definitely felt that. Yeah. And so happy to be on this broadcast, especially representing the Cedar Park community. Thoughts of spreading wings and going elsewhere. Dude, when you get there on Friday night and the GUP is packed and the boys are out there, those new helmets, by the way.
I like them.
Love them. Love the new helmets. This is home, and this is what this community has always been. Even with the change and a lot of people moving in, and it's, I don't hardly know as many people here anymore. But again, it's this football program that keeps this community together. And so really excited to be here at Alzer's, at our home, and definitely inviting all y'all to come join us here on every Tuesday night from 7 to 8. I'm going to try to be here at 6 p.m. to make sure we get tested, and that way I have time to grab a bite.
Yeah, I had some brisket tonight.
I had some good brisket, great beans over here too. The Pepsi's cold, but again, it's just a good time for us to get together and just talk about this good team. So really excited to have this opportunity this year.
Well, I'm Brad Cohn, the so-called V of the T voice of the Timberwolves. I started with this program when it first started playing, not even a varsity schedule yet. In 1998, I was asked by the principal, who I knew personally, to be the stadium announcer. So, yeah, I did that and just kept coming back, doing stadium announcing through the first varsity year in 99 all the way through 2007. And then in 2008, Chuck Licata, and K-Mac Sports, Internet Broadcasting Company, was the first around. They were one of the pioneers of this. Everybody does this now. Cedar Park was one of the very first anywhere to do it. We did play-by-play broadcast live of Cedar Park football beginning in 2008, and I've been doing that ever since. I am, how old am I? 64.
There you go.
And class of, before that, high school, I played football, baseball, basketball for the Lanier Vikings.
That's not PC.
Yeah, I'm never going to call them whatever name they assign at school now, but they're the Lanier Vikings. And I was class of 83 from the University of Texas, a CS degree, and I've been retired for about 7 years now from the IT business. 8 years of it with Texas Instruments, the rest of it with the State of Texas Education Agency. And again, been doing this TNIA since 12, the game since 8 on broadcasts, and the game since 98 as the voice in the booth of the stadium. And it's just been a heck of a ride. I've been doing baseball broadcasts also since 8. I was a baseball stadium announcer since the school started in 98 as well. So a lot of my spare time I spend in Cedar Park athletics, and it's just really been fulfilling. When my first two daughters, who were in the first two full graduating classes at Cedar Park High, classes of 2 and 3, finished, I started thinking, well, I've done my community service. I'll let somebody else try this, and I thought about that and talked with Ron Lefevre, the principal at the time, about it. And he talked me into, no, we want you. I said, it is a lot of fun. So I'm just going to do it till they don't want me anymore, or I die, whichever comes first.
Okay. We're not doing any of those. But I think that's kind of the idea I have too. Is, they're going to have to just. Like, they're going to say, Josh, please stop coming here.
You're no good.
But again, I think the camaraderie that our broadcast team has, it's evident in our pre-games, during the broadcast. And that's kind of the bad thing, is we only get 4 road games. We had 6 road games last year, back-to-back weeks in College Station.
And we don't have Cecil on TNIA.
Right. And so, I do, appreciate, the games that we are going to have, but I kind of wish that we had more, just me and you doing them, because I love the back and forth that we provide.
It's a lot of fun.
When the bullets are flying, we really do get into it, and just appreciate everybody that's been tuning in. Saw the numbers last week. or the Round Rock week, I should say. I mean, that last possession, we had almost over 200 people watching that live, and you got to think there's a few watch parties going on, maybe a couple people here and there. So definitely, and being able to be broadcast on YouTube, making it easily accessible, I think that's going to be really huge for this broadcast.
Getting rid of the pay-per-view, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
pay-per-view was a mistake. Not getting rid of it. Getting rid of it was the right thing to do.
I agree. So we're both really excited. And again, we will have the three-headed monster on the broadcast this Friday, as it is a road game. So Brad will be giving you play-by-play
and all playoff games.
Yep, and all the playoff. Oh, that's great. That's awesome stuff. Because I know that Texan Live, they're doing the. Did they get the rights to the UIL broadcast?
Yeah, we won't be able to do video for playoff games, but
that's how we started, baby.
Yeah,
we're radio heads over here. Radio, right. We got radio faces.
We started doing video to 2014 or 15. I think.
Yeah, and then and we could never do it live.
Yeah,
until COVID.
Until recently, yeah. So COVID's a good thing.
COVID actually did help in some areas, but again, just excited for this season, and this team is what's driving that excitement.
And Josh is going to have on players, if you've seen this show before or listened to the show before, he's going to have on players from different positions each Tuesday night. Linebackers one night, the quarterbacks the next, wide receivers the next, and so on as the season goes on. So you have a chance to hear us converse with the guys who are the doers of all these great deeds for the team. And
that's going to be the focus for sure. We want to give them the opportunity. And again, to the Timberwolf faithful, apologize for not getting these off a little bit earlier. It has been quite the past few weeks for the Willard of Oz and his little family, but it's just also a credit into what Brad has given to this program about the show that he has created. And I mean, again, the Cedar Park were trendsetters.
We are.
From the jerseys on the field to the broadcast booth, we were definitely the first ones doing a broadcast outside of the Friday nights.
That's right.
Dedicated to the team, and again, it started back in your living room with little Harper on the stairs peeking through the wood panels, and so it's been
Who's a seventh grader at CPMS?
Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're not. I mean, my daughter turned 4.
Less than 2 years, she's at Cedar Park High.
That is nuts.
How could that be?
Yeah, my daughter turned 4 yesterday, and she was just like, "Daddy, I'm a big girl." And I was like, "Okay,
okay, teach me to drive."
Yeah, let's not do that. And just really excited for everybody. A lot of good youth on this team. We got a lot of sophomores stepping up, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Outside linebacker, Yaheem Porter, is that right? Porter. God, forgive me, folks. We're going to get this roster, man. I'm going to get one saved. But just the tenacity that he showed in that Round Rock game. I mean, he was depleted on those last few possessions, but still just throwing his body in there. And
another linebacker's been doing well is Isaiah King.
Oh, and he's been on the scene. We Timberwolf faithful have known about Isaiah King is just he's got an unbelievable motor, and his ability to track down runs from the backside, it's remarkable to watch. And that's a really strong suit of this defense has always been the linebacker core, and it doesn't work though within this 3-4 defense if you don't have nasty gorillas up front that can handle double teams and clog up running lanes so these backers can run free and make big plays.
Let me tell you all something that I like to do. We'll continue to do on TNIA every week. I do a lot of stats for the coaches. I send them Saturday morning. And one of the updates I do, I also keep the school record book, is I send a note to Coach Q of interesting entries that got put into the record book because of that week's action. And here are those from Cedar Ridge and Round Rock, because these really illustrate, in tangible numbers, the accomplishments that we've been alluding to here by several of these guys. Against Cedar Ridge, Aiden Arp's production that game moved him up from 17th to 14th on the career total offense list, from 10th to 7th on the career passing yardage list,
wow,
and from 8th to 5th on the list of career passing attempts. And that was after Cedar Ridge, and he's had 2 more games. He's moved up a couple notches in each of those now.
Guys, I mean, he's already cracking almost Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, he's going to be one of the Mount Rushmores. Tyler Wynn becomes the 100th Cedar Park player to score a rushing touchdown.
Wow.
Against Cedar Ridge. The 106 total yards of offense allowed Cedar Ridge, 106, was the 11th lowest total in Cedar Park history. And were it not for their 67-yard touchdown run, they would have only had 39 total yards, which would have been the 5th fewest ever for want of a tackle. The 16 yards of total offense allowed Ridge in the first half is the 13th lowest in Cedar Park history. And that's remarkable on two fronts. One of them is that 12 times we've allowed less than 16 yards of total offense in the first half.
That's crazy.
The 29 passing yards allowed Ridge, the 15th lowest in our history. The 4 first downs allowed Ridge, and 2 of them were on penalties, is the 3rd lowest in Cedar Park history. Unfortunately, here's a bad one. The 67-yard touchdown run by Max Lecomte was the 15th longest run ever against the Cedar Park defense. And then against Round Rock, we didn't have any great record book entries against Vandy.
Yeah.
Against Round Rock, beating Round Rock dropped from 19 to 18. The number of programs with a winning record against Cedar Park, 73 programs do not.
That's unreal.
12 of the 18 teams with a winning record against us, we have played only once in the playoffs and are 0-1 against them.
Wow. Right.
Cedar Park's on a 5-game home winning streak.
Oh.
Last home loss was to Vandy in last year's home opener. Timberwolves have now gone more than a calendar year since our last home loss.
I'm telling you,
I hadn't realized that.
The stock is high right now in the T-Wolves.
Aiden Arp has now passed both Josh Cameron and Ethan Fry on the career total offense list.
God, J. Cam and Ethan Fry? Come on.
Yeah.
All namers.
Arp passes Steven Schaefer, our original QB1, for 5th on the list of most career passing yards. A 61-yard touchdown pass from Arp to Josh Petchy was the 17th longest pass completion in Cedar Park history.
And, I mean, with Ryder in the Storm in that era? Come on, man.
Trey Hill had his first 100-yard rushing game, as Josh mentioned, and his first rushing touchdowns, plural.
Yeah.
Hill becomes only the 2nd Cedar Park player with multiple rushing touchdowns on the night he scored his first rushing touchdown.
Oh.
Quentin Smith was the other.
Oh, my gosh. That, I mean, in Timberwolf fans, you probably don't know that name, but he went on to be the all-time leading rusher at Rice, I believe, still.
Yeah, All-State. He was our all-time leading rusher for a long time until somebody passed him.
Dietrich?
Who got much... No, it was Hogan, I think.
Oh, my gosh.
He had a much smaller yard per carry, but he carried the ball twice as many times.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, you put Quentin next to Brian Hogan.
In the backfield together? Oh, my gosh, that's 700 yards rushing. All right, let's see. Hill's 53-yard touchdown run was the 30th longest run from scrimmage in Cedar Park history.
And it's so good to see that we have, like, that home run hitting speed.
Yes.
And Tyler Wynn, too. I mean, don't count the senior out. He's coming in with fresh legs, wanting to prove himself. And, man, I love his energy when he gets in the game. That's a great, thunder and lightning we got.
Hill's 113 rushing yards against Round Rock were the most since Kevin Adams got 183 against Weiss in Game 9 of 2021.
God, K.A., baby.
The 174 team rushing yards against Round Rock, the most since getting 233 against Angleton in the 2021 playoffs.
And that was, that was a 5-5 team that found their way in the 3rd round.
Yep, won more games than anybody in the district in the playoffs.
God,
we finished 4th.
I think that was Tristan Hervey had a nice kick return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
God, what a game.
So far this season, the O-line has allowed only 4 sacks for 9 yards in losses. At this same point last year, there had been 11 sacks for 55 yards.
Oh, my gosh.
So props to that O-line for doing the pass protection bit. And the last one, 3 of the 12 longest pass completions Cedar Park has ever allowed have occurred in the last 2 games.
Oh, my
That's
God.
not a good one.
So, you got to give most of those to Vandy.
Yeah. That's right. I think all of them were Vandy.
That's some exciting stuff, and that's, if you would have said all of those stats in the offseason, I don't know how many people would have maybe, bought that stock.
I would have doubted that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have our conversations about where we think the team's at, and I think we both collectively thought that it was...
I underestimated him.
I'll
come right out and admit it.
I estimated them, and that's something that I was just pleasantly surprised is, you saw Arp take the next step. But that was what was mind-blowing. Everyone took the next step. The offensive line.
Running backs, the receivers, D-line, the backers.
Yeah.
And the special team, every phase of the team is playing better than it did last year. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, number 7, strong safety for us, Garrison Cockrell. That dude is a force. And God, our buddy that had that interception that got called back on the roughing the passer against Round Rock, that was just awful.
Yeah.
That was unfortunate. And I think that's something that, coming out of that Cedar Ridge game, it was cleaning up the penalties. Coming out of the Vandergrift game, it was cleaning up the big plays, not letting those happen. And then you just saw them put it together against Round Rock, and that was a tough fought game. I mean, Round Rock is big. I mean, they got a roster that looks like a college roster with how many students they have in their enrollment. One of the biggest, it's probably the biggest 6A school in Central Texas in enrollment.
Yeah.
And Cedar Park, I think that's what everybody is. I think they are underestimating them from last season. And Cedar Park is just getting off the bus and hitting them in the mouth early.
And really from the last 2 seasons, because we've got a cumulative losing regular season record in the last 2 seasons. 5-5 and then 4-6.
And I think that's going to be exciting to see the trajectory, just getting 2 wins out of that non-district schedule, and then rolling right into Georgetown Eastview, and it's going to be an exciting.
Let's talk about them.
Yes.
Eastview, they played a 4A team last week.
I have their
passes.
Yeah.
They gave up 70 points and lost.
Yeah, I see that they went 1-2 in non-district. They dropped the first game to Westwood, 34-20, and then they beat Coppers Cove,
who everybody's beating.
Everybody's beating them, and they won that one 40-21. And then you're right, 72-37 last week against Lampasas,
who's a 4A team and is 4A D2. Eastwood is 5A D1, so 1, 2, 3 levels below them, and they lose to them and give up 72 points.
Yeah,
doesn't bode well for the Patriots.
You can't really, again, when you're scheduling your non-district games, why would you set your team up for failure? Even if I can't stop saying it the way you say it. Lampasas. Lampasas. Even if you know they're good, why you set yourself up for failure? I don't know.
They were a state-ranked team a couple seasons ago. This year, they're not that.
Right. They had a good, I think, 2-way sport player for Lampasas that went to UT for baseball.
That's right. Yeah.
He was a quarterback, and he was really good for them. But again, just kind of looking at some of the other games that we've got slated in the district, was going to get that pulled up here. Again, we had the big one is going to be Georgetown going on the road to College Station to play A&M Consolidated. That's going to be probably the biggest game that can definitely shake up some standings. And Georgetown looking to play upset in that one. I would imagine they're the underdog.
I would imagine.
And again, computer a little bit slow, so we'll have to get those here in a second for you. But Timberwolf faithful, we really do appreciate you guys. This one's going to be kind of short and sweet, just getting reacclimated. We're going to get with Coach Q, get the schedule of when we're going to get all the players in here.
And we're going to get announcements put in the weekly newsletter and stuff to advertise a little bit.
And but the whole part of this is we want people to come here to support Alzer's Barbecue. Is
it good?
It's Cedar Park's home. We're here in the Cedar Park corner. They got all the team photos of all their sons and the teams, and the class of 18, 17.
The state championship ring up there.
Oh man, and going back to Amir, man, 2014. That was an exciting team. He had the
state title game that year too. Amir took us to that game.
Had the Levines with him on that squad. My gosh, Bam Bam, what a team! And that's the whole point of this show. We wanted to have a space where we can come get together, talk about the last game. If we need to hash some things out, hash them out. But generally in our history, we've been having great conversations and updating record books, and it seems like we're getting back on that track here.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a good time. So again, we'll go ahead and cut it short. The Booster Club meeting did run long, so Coach Q not able to sneak over here to give us a little bit. So we will extend his invitation for next week. And again, we'll get a position group in here as well, so we can get the guys on the mic. And again, this is an exciting team. We really wanted to get this broadcast and do the Timberwolf Night in America. Brad said that he wasn't going to do it because of his treatment and everything. That was
just a lot of workload, and I have low energy levels.
It's like when is the young grasshopper going to freaking grow up and start doing this thing? So the Word of Oz, I'm here, baby. We're live. We're going to be here at Alzer's Barbecue for the rest of the season. We need everybody to come here and buy all their barbecue so they sell out every day on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
For Tuesdays.
Until 8.
Yeah, there we go. Got the coldest Pepsi in town, too. But again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight for episode 1. We'll be back on Friday night as we take on Georgetown Eastview. Kickoff set for 7:30.
I think it's a 7.
Could be a 7er. So definitely stay tuned on all the socials, and we'll be sure to get you the pregame. And we'll have the whole crew for the pregame live. So again, I love it when our crew is all together. And Cecil still being able to provide some color analysis, while doing the producing. It is remarkable what he does at home when we do those games. He's doing the camera. It is remarkable.
Busiest man on the broadcast.
And I think last week was our first clean broadcast. So definitely excited to gear up and hunker down with this team to start the district race, and everything looking up for this Timberwolf team. Just got to keep improving week in and week out, and this broadcast will do the same dang thing.
Yeah.
So again, we'll go ahead and thank Nate, our QA tonight. Thanks also to Suna Vincat, Merle Bertrand, everybody over at Vype Media, and to my broadcast partner, the most interesting sports broadcaster in the world, the Via the T, Brad Cohn himself, and the Word of Oz, signing off here for Timberwolf Night in America.